Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Envy, the strong style, nerd strong style cinephile. Stargirl, another great episode is in the books, so let's geek about that for a scant few minutes. Now, this continues to be the best superhero series going, and if you're sleeping on it still, I just have no words for you at this point. Now, we saw things, we learned things in the episode as it picks up with Courtney in the hospital and Pat covering for her by wrecking his prized Buick by driving it into a light pole. He and Court are at odds because Pat wants to come clean to Barbara about what's going on, and Courtney doesn't want her to tell her for fear of her mother taking Stargirl away from her. Now, Cindy talks of her triumph in taking out Stargirl to her father, but of course, there was no body to be found, and he's sorely disappointed in her rebellious actions and even gets in another dig about Cindy's mom, who it seems was killed by Cindy in a manifestation of her powers. And the other junior JSA members are rightly ticked off that Cindy attacked Courtney and want to strike back. Now, Beth is the surprising voice of reason, showing some backbone and standing up to Rick, who wants revenge. Well, more revenge than usual for Rick. Now, Beth has a plan, she says. The plan is to go to Cindy's house and use the goggles to snoop around. Now, the encounter is made that much more awkward by Pat's sudden appearance and encountering Cindy's stepmother, who even makes a pass at Pat. Now, while this is going on, Beth is using the goggles to snoop around the house for any clues as to who Cindy is connected to. Beth winds up in the tunnels, as well as in Cindy's room, where she finds the photo of Dr. Ito and gets a brief history on the Dragon King. Now, the team manages to get her out just in time before Cindy gets home. Cindy, meanwhile, has been visiting Courtney, pretending to make nice, only to drop the bomb on Courtney that she knows she's Stargirl, which we all figured it was because Pat was yelling her name all crazy like in last week's episode. Now, Cindy made it seem like she could just put two and two together, see through the mask that it was Courtney. She vows to kill Courtney's friends, prompting Courtney to grab her staff and go on the attack. At first, the staff doesn't want to comply. Now, this is due to the conversation Pat had with the staff, imploring it to do a better job of protecting Courtney and to take her away from danger rather than just let her run headlong into it. Now, speaking of head, Henry King's head and his headaches, which are really just a manifestation of his powers, are starting to get the better of him. In his dad's study, as he rifles for medicine, he finds a strange key, but also the fact that he can move objects with his mind. Henry eventually discovers his dad's secret room with his brainwave uniform and surveillance tapes, as well as a letter from the Dragon King talking about Cindy watching over Henry. Meanwhile, Cindy and Courtney are having round two, with Cindy gaining the upper hand again. Henry shows up and hits him with a mental blast when their thoughts overwhelm him. Now, Cindy is snatched up by Ito's men and pulled into a sewer while Courtney and Henry recover. Henry learns through mental stuff that Courtney is Stargirl and runs off as Ito watches on his monitors and sees that Henry does indeed have his father's powers. That's pretty much the episode. Other things that happened in the episode, we got a great moment between Mike and Courtney as they continue to bond as step siblings. Mike kind of apologized for what he said in the last episode of the game about saying that Pat was his father and basically telling Courtney to back off. He showed some surprising maturity for how he's been portrayed thus far. We see Jordan get all murdery. As we know, Jordan and Barbara go on this trip, this work trip, to another city to buy up a piece of property. And Jordan wanted Barbara to go along to help him sell the deal, which apparently went off without a hitch, because we see them opening in the episode in having dinner, which Jordan takes his leave early in the evening because he's got to go murder somebody. He's got to murder somebody who could have been potentially a whistleblower into the company that led to his wife getting sick and her dying. Now, I thought it was said in a few episodes ago that Jordan tracked down and killed everybody responsible for his wife's death, but apparently he didn't, so he had to get all murdery on this guy, using his icicle powers. Which again, it just, I love how they're playing Jordan, the actor that they have to play him, because he's just this nice, charming, just well-meaning, considerate guy on the one hand, great father, great coworker, great boss. He seems to have some really altruistic goals and things that he wants to achieve for the betterment of mankind. And he's really this murdery, double-crossing, not afraid to take out his own guys, just evil, SOB. Just love it. Just the guy just plays it just so well, how he could switch from one to the other. Just great stuff. We got some great stuff between Pat and Barbara, and the fact that Pat is torn, you can see it, between keeping Courtney's secret at her request and wanting to come clean with Barbara and tell her everything that's going on. We're going to see it's going to put some strain on the marriage that they have in their relationship. And I'm wondering, once everything comes to light, if it's then going to put some strain on Courtney and Barbara's relationship for keeping all this stuff from her. as well as Courtney wanting Pat not to tell Barbara, which then puts like some strain on their relationship. So, I mean, when stuff hits the fan for Barbara, she's going to be just experiencing a million emotions and reactions and things. It's going to be interesting when that finally happens. Is it just going to be just this blow up type of scene, or is she going to take it just kind of like low key? I'll be interested to see kind of how ultimately her reaction to everything that's going on is. Again, a lot of us have poo-pooed Beth and her involvement in this just based on how they've portrayed her character thus far. As I said, she showed some surprising backbone standing up to Rick. She had a plan. It gets into that kind of cringy teenager show type of stuff with her just running headlong into the tunnels and then into Cindy's room. It's like she's doing dumb stuff she's not qualified for. But then again, kind of need that stuff to happen, so it's okay. Overall, I mean, the show, while I think many people, and I've seen it on message boards on Reddit and some other boards I go to, wrote it off as this teeny bopper, just high school, full of like the same stupid high school-y type of tropes that we've seen in other shows before, and kind of wrote it off. And I almost did too. I was going to keep watching it because it was a superhero show, but just as the shows have continued to come out, the episodes continue to come out, the story continues to evolve. It's a nice, well-written, well-woven story. It's like I said, I've said it before, they're not giving us too much, they're not giving us too little, just enough each episode to kind of keep us wanting more and more. They wrote Cindy, she could have been just a one-note mean girl, but she's just got so much depth and levels and layers to her. I mean, she's evil, she's mean, but really she's lonely, wants a friend, wants a father, wants a mother, just wants that regular stability and foundation in life that a lot of us have. Parents, friends, she just wants that, and it's been denied her, it's been taken away from her, it's been ripped from her, and she's been affected by it mentally and physically as well. She has been affected purposely by her father. So it's interesting to see her storyline play out and just the parallel she runs with Courtney. Courtney is just dying to show that she belongs, she can do what she's doing, she's good at it, she wants to prove herself, much like Cindy wants to prove herself to her father, to the ISA, to get a seat at the table, which she's gone on and on about wanting. So it remains to be seen how things will play out. Brainwave Jr., again, he sets up what I think is going to be what ultimately undoes the ISA. The way that they're going to beat themselves, I just think that's how it's going to go. There's no way, to me, these kids should just outright beat this team of villains and killers that have been doing what they're doing for years, and these new kids on the block come and beat them. No, they're going to beat themselves, either through infighting and backbiting, because you already know that Tigers and Sportsmaster do not care for a gambler. You have Brainwave Jr., who's going to come into his own with his powers. The next episode is called Brainwave, so I think he's going to learn what he can do. And then he's also going to be told that Stargirl is the one to put his dad into the coma, but then but certain details are, of course, going to be left out, and then he's going to find out eventually that his dad was evil. And that at the very last moment, he's going to turn to the side of the angels and be the reason, a factor in why the Project New America plan gets upended. So I think just through infighting and just a last minute defection is going to be how they manage to squeak out a win in the season finale. And that's how it should be. Like I said, these are trained killers who have been doing this for years. These are kids who have had their costumes for like 3 weeks now. They should not just beat them outright. They should be barely by the skin of their teeth winning. Luke Wilson continues to absolutely just slay this role as Pat in this episode. There's this college-y, just really good guy who just gets no respect from so many people, but he's just this good guy trying to do what's right, trying to protect Courtney, trying to stop the ISA, and just trying to be a good father and husband. So he's just balancing all these things that he's trying to do. Will he collapse under the weight of it? Will that be a story in an upcoming episode? Maybe in season 2, it's just all the weight of it just brings him down. Remains to be seen. All in all, this is just a fantastic show. If you're sleeping on it at this point, it's just, what is wrong with you? You can catch it on DC Universe, you can catch it on the CW. It's a really good, fun show. It has its dark moments, it's a serious moments, has its over-the-top, cheesy, teeny bopper type of antics. It's to be expected, come on. And it just has great superhero action, whether you're steeped in the lore, or you're not. It's just fun to see if you're a fan of these types of shows. I mean, those are some of my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media, talk to me there, talk to me here. Till the next video, let us geek.